Good evening, afternoon, I'm the Mainly Digger, and this video that you're about to watch is on Falling Springs Presbyterian Church. I've had to say it like 3 times, I'd redo it a couple of times. Couldn't say Presbyterian for whatever reason. Anyway, I wanted to name this vlog, Church Has Gotta Pay Your Rent, but it wouldn't have worked, it wouldn't have gone along. I thought it was funny. I bring that up because the church is one of the 3 Rose Rent churches, and the speaker, which is Pastor Hart, who is the pastor for the church, and took me on a wonderful tour. And I wanted to thank him. I did thank him for his time, but I wanted to thank him for his time again. He made a great tour. It showed me everything I wanted to. A lot of history in this church and around the church. Anyway, so he explains it in the video, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it again. Rose Rent churches. Benjamin Chambers is the founding father of Chambersburg. I've done videos and vlogs about Chambersburg history. He put up a fort around the surrounding area to protect the settlers from the Native Americans. Or Native American attacks, and that became Chambersburg. He was a Scotch-Irish settler. I think he actually immigrated from Scotland, and his parents were Scottish. Anyway, a lot of Scottish are Presbyterian, or that's what it was explained to me. Anyway, sorry, doesn't matter. So he granted these 3 church congregations property, and they had initial payment, but their rent was a rose, and so every year they were to give the Chambers family a rose. To this day it still happens. There's a ceremony, they read the deed where it states they need to give a rose, and there's a rose given to a descendant of the family. And then the descendant lays, you'll see it in the video, lays the rose either on the headstone or there's a table out in front of it. I called an altar and I was corrected. It's not an altar, it's a table. But it's an amazing, amazing church. Please watch. Thank you. Mainly Dig Out. Subscribe, please.
Sanctuary.
Yep.
The church was organized in 1734. Log Church was erected in 1737. The second church was erected in 1767. The present church was erected in 1803. Obviously, it survived the burning of Chambersburg. Southern troops did not want to burn down a church. One of the change on the state. Very conservative. All right, knock on some lights here. So this is the interior of the church. It does look a little bit different than it did back in even the 1800s in terms of the pulpit and whatnot. This is your typical Presbyterian or Protestant churches, although many of them don't have stained glass windows. 2 of the stained glass windows are actually Tiffany windows, which were put in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and I'll show you the 2 Tiffany windows. The angel.
The angel's the Tiffany window?
That's a Tiffany window. Yep.
Also a Tiffany window.
Yeah, this is a Tiffany window. The rest of them were built by other window makers. Pew rent. So today, when we take up offering, we pass the plate, but way back when, I mean, this is probably until the 1900s, you would pay a certain amount of money for a pew. So if you wanted, my last name is Hart, the Hart pew would be number 13, and I'd pay $200 a year, and that would be it. Let me turn some lights on. Yes. Okay. These are all the pastors. Obviously, Laura, my wife, and I will be right here sometime. We just haven't gotten there yet. But if you're interested in Civil War history, let me get the guy here. I believe it was one of these two. Probably. Let me make sure I get the right guy here. Actually, it was him. Reverend Nichols served 1860, 1864. Then when he got the call, he was a chaplain for the Union Army, Pennsylvania troops. So, and then back here, just some older pictures of the campus. The reason being there's no stained glass windows. It's generally thought in our theology that a lot of stained glass windows, a lot of art distracts worship from God. But it takes place. This is where Colonel Benjamin Chambers is buried, first white settler of Franklin County in 1730. And he's the one who gave us this land and the other churches, and we still pay his family 1 red rose per year for our rent.
That's awesome. That's an amazing story.
And there's a deed that's read and an agreement that's read every year. There's still members of his family who come to this church, which, you know, is kind of incredible when you think about it.
Do they don't they give the rose to the descendant of his descendant?
Yes.
His descendant.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. So I did read that right.
You did read that right. Yeah. A descendant will come forward, and we will give a red rose to that descendant. Used by the church since 1860, 1870. Significant basically for 2 reasons. Number one, it is original. It survived the burning of Chambersburg. Number two, the person who owned it before the church bought it was a colonel in the United States Army who actually was present in Ford's Theater when Lincoln was assassinated.
Which do you know his name off chance?
I don't know off the top of my head.